What's good, everybody? Look, came from behind, victory tonight, second preseason game, 2-0, big win for the Wizards. But we were led not by Jordan Poole or Kyle Kuzma, but underdogs like Eugene from Eugene. We're going to talk about it next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Appreciate you guys making Locked On Wizards your first listen every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked On. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. Just visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn to get started. The Wiz-Kids tonight came from behind to become 2-0 in the preseason, beating the Charlotte Hornets 98-92. So we're going to break down the good, the bad, and the ugly tonight. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to chop it up with you guys to celebrate this second straight dub in the preseason. So, Ed, looking at this game, we led 2-0, and then the Hornets kind of took possession. But there was some ugliness to this game. It was a good win, but you know, what kind of concerns you with this performance tonight from the Wiz-Kids?
Just really the front court. Nick Richards had his way. Mark Williams had his way. LaMelo Ball got to the paint. Just the front court depth and just physicality. We really got out rebounded pretty badly. 66-48. We got dominated on the boards. A lot of offensive rebounds given up.
Yeah.
A lot of points in the paint given up as well. We lost a point in the paint. Points in the paint battle, 52-42. But that was a concern we talked about all summer. Without Gaff, or even with Gaff, he's more of a kind of like he's a lean big, a finesse big, just a lob. He's more of a lob threat, a guy who catches lobs, easy layups and stuff like that. And on defense, he does play with physicality at times, but there are times where other bigs can push him around a little bit and he can give up a lot of points. Last year we saw that him and Porzingis gave up a lot of points to other bigs. And just looking at Nick Richards, let me put up the numbers for those guys. Nick Richards and Mark Williams. Mark Williams had a couple of nasty dunks. Mark Williams had 9 and 11 in 24 minutes. He easily could have had a double-double if he would have played like about 30 minutes. Nick Richards had 9 points and 12 boards. They both basically almost had double-doubles. So that's concerning. Muscala, and Gallo, they played together at one point. They're both, they're not the fastest guys out there. They're not the fleetest of foot out there as well. So envisioning them go. And these are Mark Williams and Nick Richards are more mid-tier bigs. They're not in the same class as some of the more all-star or talented bigs that we're going to play against, like Embiid, Jokic, Gobert, and Anthony Davis. I keep bringing up those guys' names over and over because the big man spot, it really is a concern. And it definitely was a challenge. The rebound, it was PJ Washington had 11 and 10. Like, 3 guys almost had double-doubles off of rebounding against us tonight. So it certainly is a concern coming up. And three-point shooting was pretty bad. The Hornets struggled to shoot the ball as well. So both teams struggled shooting the ball from the three-point land. But those were the biggest concerns to me tonight.
Yeah, the paint was an issue, man. Out-rebounded by that wide margin said a lot, man. And I know you highlight. I was about to say I'm looking at comments now, and we're talking about Kai Jones. Hey, man, we need depth at the center position, man. I think they got to consider it. You need.
I can't do it, but yeah, go ahead.
I mean, I feel you, man, but I think that you got to do something at center position because Gallo ain't it, man. He ain't it. Muscala ain't it. I mean, we just. In the paint, they destroyed us. I mean, you had guys like Terry Rozier in there getting rebounds.
Right, yeah, he was.
Over Gaff, man. Look, let's get on Gaff real quick. Because I've seen some comments about him on TikTok. I ain't going to get on that real quick. But I'm going to say this about Gaff, man. I mean, as a starter, it's kind of scary looking at him starting too because we asked this question all offseason. Can we rely on Gaff to consistently play 25 minutes a game? I just don't see it, man. He's out rebounded by guards. He's not showing the energy on the defensive end. It's just I don't know, man. The center position is a concern. Gaff going all the way back. I like Gaff, man. I definitely think he has a place in his organization, but is he the starter going forward, man? I don't know. Gallo ain't in at the 5. Muscala ain't in. We gotta make a move. But looking at, let's start with the good. Obviously, Bilal. I'm gonna start with Bilal. Bilal looked good tonight, man. 3-point shot, which is something that we said he needed to work on. Brother man he shot 2 for 3, and they were fluid. I mean, the mid-range shot in the first quarter was nice. I mean, defensively, good God. I mean, 4 steals, 1 block. Again, a good showing. What did we say last time? Hey, let's see what he does against an NBA team. He did it. And look, the Charlotte Hornets are very similar. They got a fast team that's very young. LaMelo did his thing. And we're going to talk about Tyus in a minute, but Bilal looked good. Kuz shot 50%, but he did from the field, but did shoot 1 for 6 for 3, 6 turnovers. Now, we know with Kuz and with Jordan Poole, high, efficiency is always kind of an issue. They're going to get the shots up. When it's going in, they have big nights. When it's not, you're going to see, as far as their play styles, you're going to see nights like this from Jordan Poole and Kyle Kuzma. Like I said, 19 points, he led all scorers, Kyle Kuzma did, but 6 turnovers, I think that were kind of an issue. Jordan Poole had a slow night, 11 points, 2 for 12 for the field, 2 for 8 from 3. So he had an off-shoot night, one the only one. We're going to talk about the bench in a little bit, but Tyus, point guard. I'm looking for a better showing next time. LaMelo Ball was cooking them. Faster guards. You got younger guards in this league, man. If he wants to be that starter, he's got to hang with these guys. He's got to throw some energy. He's got to be able to hang with the LaMelo Balls because look, that's a divisional opponent. We're gonna see the Hornets a lot. We got to be able to guard LaMelo, man. Terry Rozier was doing his thing. So the starting unit had an off night. Bilal had showings. He looked good. Gaff again, 6 points, 5 rebounds, but in 3 blocks. But he's man, I hate to say this, man. I don't know if he's it as starting point guard or not point guard, Lord, a center. And but the thing is, with this being a rebuild, he's probably gonna be the guy this year. But we need depth. I don't know if it's Kai Jones. I don't know if we need to go out and get a Bismarck Biyombo. Something we need to do something, man, because Gallo ain't it. I mean, I get a rebuild. I get small ball 5s, but I also don't want to get embarrassed. And you put Gallo up against Embiid, man. It's you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be hard to watch. I mean, we got to do something. We need to. And I see the comments talking about my shaves. So we're gonna talk about that. But yeah, man. This overall, the starting unit, they had an off night. Now looking at the bench real quick, it wasn't much better. Corey Kispert had a really bad night tonight. 9 points, shooting 3 from 14 from the field, and 2 from 10 from 3. So he had off shooting night, but I can't complain too much. We got the dub. This was one of those ugly high energy wins, right? Very ugly shooting. I mean, I think both teams shot around 20% from 3. So it was an ugly shooting night for both teams. But when you look at people like Eugene Amarudi, man, I mean, the energy. I mean, these guys who are fighting for spots, these last spots in the rotation, they look good tonight. These guys are probably going to start out with a go-go. They really push in the fourth quarter to get this win. So I like to see that. It's an ugly win, but to see this team fight and have energy on the defensive end, they did have defensive energy. So I was impressed by that, man. So yeah, ugly win, but I love the energy and I love the fight.
Yeah, Bilal looked really good. I love the block from McGowan's. That was a nasty possibly SportsCenter top 10 block when McGowan tried to dunk on him. Then he got on the floor. He dove for a steal. I want to say that was on LaMelo Ball. That led to a fast break to an and one. So he made some defensive plays that led to buckets. And if he can do stuff like that, just deflections and just be a pest and be annoying on defense, he certainly will get at least 20 minutes per game for sure. He played 28 tonight. Is he going to start? I mean, that's a different conversation. I think he will start at some point this season for sure. But yeah, I love what he did defensively. 4 steals, stat sheet stuffer, 5 boards, 1 block, 12 points. He looked fluid offensively, and that's what I said before the game last night in the preview, that I wanted to see him get some offensive play calling for him or some calls play. And I think Wes made that a point for him to get the ball at the top of the key. Take a couple dribbles here and there, make some decisions, whether he's going to pass or get to the basket or pull up. He pulled it for a jumper, knocked down 2 threes. The shot, it's still a little slow, but it looked good. It looked fluid. I like the confidence. He didn't hesitate. He didn't think too much. With Johnny last year, Johnny stopped doing this now. He stopped thinking too much. but Bilal's just letting it fly. And that's one thing I love. He's out there. He's a rookie. He's not thinking too much, because what we saw with Johnny last year, he was just hesitating and thinking too much. So that's one thing I love Bilal is his confidence right now. In the offensive game, I like defensively, I have no questions. Offensively, I think, defensively he's further ahead than what he is offensively, but offensively he looked pretty smooth and fluid tonight. So I was really happy to see that. Kuz was very aggressive, getting to the basket early and often in the first half, had double digits in the first quarter. He looked good. Jordan Poole was a little up and down, like you said, 11 points. He did struggle tonight. I think he needs to stop settling for threes. He shot 8 threes. He's going to shoot a lot of threes. Yeah. And also, like you said, he's going to have some off nights. He's going to struggle. Not every night he's going to put up 30 to 40 points. There's going to be some nights where he is going to struggle and have some off nights. Tonight was one of those nights. But I do want to see him get to the basket more. I think he's capable of getting to the free throw line a little bit more than what he did. He shot 6 free throws, which is pretty good. But I think he's still capable of getting to the paint and getting to the line. Tyus, yes, this was a game for him to forget and certainly improve on. 0 for 5, 0 for 2 from the 3-point line. This was kind of like I hate to bring up Monte again, but he had 7 boards, 2 assists, did some other things, but he didn't put pressure on the defense, didn't get to the paint, and he did struggle defensively against LaMelo Ball as well. So this was definitely a game for Tyus to look back on and improve, because he just looked like a backup point guard tonight for sure. So but the starters got outplayed, they got outclassed, and they were a little overmatched at times. The Hornets started off 14-4, so and then Kispert, I guess we can talk about him a little bit later. He 3 for 14, 2 for 10 from the 3. This for the preseason is for you to improve, but he's supposed to be, 3-point specialist, and he definitely struggled from 3-point line. Did have a nice and one, but he struggled tonight for sure. And then Eugene, piggybacking off what you said as well, Eugene looked good again. He has been a gem. He's been a star of the preseason. Will this continue into the regular season? Who knows? We'll see. But he looks darn good, man. He looks like a tight end out there, a fullback playing basketball. But man, he made some impact again, where he's getting fast breaks. He just has a knack for getting steals and finishing around the rim. So I like what he saw. Rollins, got to give a shout out to him before we move on. And then Jared Butler looked good too.
Oh, absolutely. We're definitely going to talk about Rollins real quick after the break, man. And we're definitely going to talk about Kispert real quick, because like you said, being a shooter, he's got to, if the shot's not dropping, you've got to be able to contribute in other ways. So we're going to talk about those things next. But before we do, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Snap into action this NFL season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $200 off and bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get in action than right now. The app is easy to use. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over and unders, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season. FanDuel, the official partner of the National Football League. And thanks for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Every dayers, tomorrow on the show, or rather Sunday, we are going to talk about Denny, Kispert, and Bilal, and who is the best fit at small forward going forward this season. So definitely tune in for that. So kind of going back to, like you said, Kispert, being a shooter, shot one dropping. Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, for those of you who are listening on the podcast side, we're on YouTube going live, of course, and Brandon he shaved his face, so he shaved his face, so he's bald faced, no beard right now. Guru Strong said Brandon got that American dad chin.
Hey, I inherited that German chin from my mom, man. So that's how it rolls, So, man, that's funny stuff.
And shout out to the chat. We got 77 people in here watching for a preseason game. We're talking about not a game. We're talking about preseason. So shout out to you guys in the chat.
Absolutely appreciate you guys, man. Definitely appreciate you guys. So, I mean, like you said, Kispert, I'm gonna kind of nitpick a little bit with a couple guys, man. Kispert, when your shot's not dropping, you've got to contribute in other ways, man. I mean, I don't want no Duncan Robinson. We need a guy who, if your shot's not dropping, you got to be able to keep cutting, keep moving out the ball. Like you said with Tyus, man, same thing. You got 2 assists. I mean, if the shot's not dropping, I get that. You've got to be able to still be that guy, still drive, still try to draw fouls, still be active. For him to be 0-5, cool. And he got 2 blocks, but 1 point, 2 assists. I mean, he was non-existent. And here's the thing. You want to be that starting point guard, man. You got to be able, I'm not saying every night you're going to light it up, but you've got to be able to contribute in other ways. And that's why I'm kind of looking at him and Kispert. They got to contribute. Like I said, Jordan Poole, Kuz, they're shooters. You definitely saw the attempts. And so you're going to have nights like that. You just got to expect it. Look, you got to strap in, put your seatbelt on, because that's how a lot of games are going to go this year, man. You're going to see highlight games or you're going to see bad shooting nights. Just what it is. So, yeah, excuse me. Overall, man, I'm going to say it was an ugly win, but I love the fight because years past, usually when we're down, you kind of see you're down and out, you pretty much call it by the fourth quarter. No, I mean, they have a real new identity with this team, man. The fight and the fact that, Eugene, you got Jamin Davis in the Wizards uniform out there putting in that work. I love it. Guys fighting for a roster spot, man. That's what I love. They're coming in and they're putting good minutes and they're trying to earn that spot. That's the type of people I want on my team. Nobody who just okay with just having that spot already. This is preseason, but don't get it twisted. Everybody on here is fighting for a spot, especially because it's a rebuilding team. It's year one. You're fighting to be a part of this organization long term. So, nobody's here and nobody's position is concrete. Tyus, he's got to earn that spot, in my opinion. Everybody said, Jordan Poole got to earn that spot. Could he be a point guard? Is he the two guard? A lot of people are fighting for spots, especially when Denny comes back. You're going to see him and Bilal fighting for that small forward because, look, with Denny being out with his injury, and I know that he's probably going to play the next game. Look, Bilal, he's making it interesting a little bit. His play style, we both said that the biggest thing we're looking for him was his offense, 2 from 3, and his shot is fluid. Make that release faster, and we're definitely cooking. I'm just saying, I'm very impressed with Bilal, man. And Corey Kispert, another showing like this in the preseason, he might find himself to the bench, and it could be a two-man competition at the small forward between Bilal and Denny, in my opinion. So, ugly win again, but I'll take the dub, man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Shamet hasn't played, so I don't think Shamet's going to start anyway. But Corey, he just had an off night. Of course, he had a great shooting season last year, so I do think he will bounce back. Yeah. Eugene has looked really good. I do want to give some credit to Jared Butler. 8 minutes, 2 for 2 from the field, 2 for 2 from the free throw line. They hit a 3. They were down by 10 in the fourth with about 8 minutes to go. It wasn't a lot of time left, and they just surged back. Him and Ryan Rollins. Ryan Rollins put on a defensive clinic as well. He had a couple deflections. Want to see how many steals that Rollins have tonight. Rollins had 0 steals. It felt like he had a bunch, though. Eugene had 2. And Jared Butler, he didn't have any steals either, but he was a plus 16. Johnny was a plus 13. Johnny had a nasty dunk on JT Thor. I got to give him credit for that, too. That was a nice back door, and he rose up and dunked. I actually got up a little bit when that happened. I was very, very excited about that. That was a nice play by him. 1 for 2 from 3-point line. So Johnny, I thought he was fine tonight, and just looking at some of the bench too, Xavier Cooks didn't play. So he played last night. You talked about we're talking about roster spots. I think that's kind of telling. Xavier Cooks is not going to make the roster. Anthony Gill injured. I think that kind of hurts his chances for making the roster. Taj Gibson didn't play, but I think he's gonna make the roster. And Michael Foster Jr. didn't get a chance to play tonight. He'll probably be on a G League team. And Jules Bernard did not play either. He'll most likely be on the G League team. But yeah, Bilal, man, he looked good. He looked good. I want to see more. And Poole and Kuz, yes, they're gonna have some good shooting nights, and then they're gonna have some rough nights because Kuz was up and down last year too. There were some games where he would go 1 for 8 from the 3, and then he would come out and go 6 for 10 from the 3 the next game. So we just got to be ready for that.
Yeah, I didn't say enough about Johnny, man. Johnny on the defensive end showed energy too.
He did. I meant to say that.
He looked good too. And I've been a big critic on his little leg thing going on with the 3-point shot, but that one shot he hit that 3-pointer, man, I didn't see it. The release was fluid. I was happy I got out for this 3-point shot with Johnny, man. So, the young guys, they showed out, man. It was just really the vets who struggled. And like I said, I'm kind of going to reiterate this point real quick before we move on, is that there's no roster spot that's secure. Look, you're fighting for a part of this organization going forward, so you got to contribute in other ways. Kispert, he's got to keep the energy up, man. When the shot's not dropping, sometimes he gets too dependent on that 3-point shot. When the shot's not dropping, he just sits out. No, you got to get back to cutting. So no, like we keep saying, ugly win, but it was a good win because this is a fight. But you got to play teams like this hard, especially the Hornets, because it's a divisional team.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to see them a lot this year. So we've got to be able to fight. We got to be able to play tough against these teams, man, because these are the teams that we have aspirations for playing. this is one of those teams that are going to be in our way, because I think we're could maybe challenge around the plan, because I think we're too good to be one of the worst teams in the league. But you're going to have nights like this, and I think the biggest thing that impressed me overall, was that other people picked up the slack. When the shots aren't dropping, a lot of these underdog players came up and they won this game. To me, the game ball goes to Eugene, in my opinion, because just the energy, that energy that he showed, and then other young guys that we mentioned already, that energy in the fourth quarter won this game. And to me, yeah, he definitely earned a place on this roster, man. Just the energy I've seen overall. So, we can go ahead and move on to comments. We got a lot of good comments. Right now, we have 87 people in the chat, so definitely appreciate everybody chopping in with us tonight. We're going to start it off strong. Israeli Phantom. He says, hey, guys, love from Israel. Hope all is well. I heard Bilal is doing amazing, but the rest of the team, especially Gafford, Gallinari, Davis, and Kispert, have been really bad. First of all, shout out to Israeli Phantom. Hope all is well, my brother. Yeah, Kispert has been a little inconsistent, but Johnny Davis, he has taken a slight step up, man. You see a renewed energy with him. Gallinari, the speed is going to come along. You definitely see he's still a little slow coming off of the ACL injury. And Gaff, all jokes aside about TikTok, Gaff's he's got to really zero in on this game, man, because I believe this is year 1E of the extension. And look, the extension will tell you that don't mean you're gonna be here forever. Look, if you look, that salary is low enough to where they can move you. We want to see some effort. I mean, you have not made it yet, man. I like Gaff, but he's got to put some time in this game, man, because Mark Williams and Nick Richards did whatever they wanted in the paint. And as the starting center, the paint is your place. You got to shut that down, man. So to be able, for those two centers to come in and do whatever they want, whoa, you get beat up in DC, man. You get some other centers up in here that are all-star level centers, man. It's gonna be hard to watch. So he's got to up his game a little bit.
Yeah, to answer Israeli Fandom's question or statement, shout out to him. We haven't seen him in the chat in a while, so shout out to him for being back in the chat for sure. Johnny Davis, yeah, he hasn't been really bad at all. I think he's had some good moments. Has he been perfect? No, of course, but I like the way he's moved without the ball. I like what he's done defensively. I think he's more confident. He's not overthinking too much. He's not hesitating too much. He's still, he's not getting separation against guys. The first game, it was just, he had a lot of easy baskets. I mean, we were playing against a Division III type team, honestly, the Cairns. So it's not a lot of stock to take in that game. But I thought he looked really good in that first game. Gafford, he is who we expected to be. I think he's a good big, but he's just more of a backup big. Him and just the physicality against other guys. He just gives up a lot of boards, a lot of offensive rebounds. So that's going to be the biggest struggle for him coming up. He did take a charge on Brandon Miller where he got dunked on. I thought that was a good play by him. That could have gone either way. So I'm happy they called a charge on that. And then who else? Gallo hasn't been bad, but he can barely move. He's slow as a snail. So defensively, he's really going to get cooked against other bigs, kind of like he did tonight. And Kispert, he had a rough shooting night tonight, but the first game he was fine. Just tonight, yeah, he struggled tonight. 3 for 14 from the field, 2 for 10 from the 3-point line. But I think he'll bounce back. I think he'll be fine. Yes, and Bilal has looked pretty darn good so far. He has. He's been impressive defensively.
Yes, he has. Especially, I mean, we already know what he can do defensively, but offensively, he may not be that far behind. He just needs playing time, man. He starting to look good. Desan said 2 things. Bilal is the future of this team, and Gafford is not a starting caliber center. Gets bullied by above average bigs and can't rebound at all. I'll say this, man. When you have Terry Rozier going in there getting rebounds on you, man, come on, bro. like, come on, man. He's got to step his game up because, look, his contract is nice enough to where he could be moved. I mean, and this comes back to the same point, is that everybody's fighting for a piece of his team going forward long term. Nobody's made it yet. He's got to step up. He's put in the starting position. He's got to show up, man. And if you see any comments, man, just go ahead and
Desan says Bilal is the future. Yeah, okay, Gafford. Yeah, we basically have said this throughout the whole stream. I mean, is he really a starting caliber center?
Yeah,
it's debatable if he is or not. On a playoff team, probably not, to be honest. Gets bullied by above average bigs. I say physicality. I'm not going to say bullied, but I think he, sometimes when bigs are more physical than him or stronger than him, he can struggle a little bit. So I don't really disagree with much of what that comment was.
No, not at all.
But I am a big fan of Gaff. I love the way he plays. I do. I love how he's a wall threat. I think he plays hard rim. I think he's a great rim runner, but it's hard to disagree with that statement.
I'm a big fan of the landlord, man. I'm a big fan. I've said this numerous times. I'm a big fan of him, but it's just being a starter is different, man. You got to, being a starter, you have the paint is your area. You got to shut that down, in my opinion. And if you want a long-term piece of this organization, man, you got to be consistent as far, because like I said, you go against some of these bigger centers, man, it ain't gonna look pretty. Muhammad Worthington said, another year of West not knowing when to call timeouts, laugh out loud. I will agree. When we were down 16-2, that was, and it kind of led to, they led all the way till the fourth quarter. So there's times like that I agree that, you got to really stem these scoring outbreaks that these teams have, because look, the Charlotte Hornets, you go against teams like, Milwaukee, they're not, that's a loss if you're down by a certain amount, because you got to stem. So I agree to a certain degree, but I think that you're going to see a lot more adjustments by West this year. I think West is going to step his game up this year, in my opinion. I hope so.
There was one comment here. I'm looking for it, and then we'll probably do one more and then wrap up. The NBA for Life says, I can't believe I'm saying this, but the Hornets are the better team. ESPN Bleacher Report may be right about us winning 17 games this year because we don't look good. Minus blah. Yeah, I don't want to overreact from a preseason game, but yeah, it's a rebuild. It's a rebuild. I don't think it would be a good thing for them to make the play in, because they can fool around and get a lottery spot higher or lower than 12. And if we do that, we lose our pick. So I don't think they should make the play in at all, or even try to make the play in. But you just look at the roster moves they made. They didn't address the big man spot, so they're going to struggle there. They're going to get cooked in the paint. They're going to get a lot of points in the paint this year for sure. So the Hornets are good, man. Miles Bridges didn't play. When Miles Bridges comes back, I'm very high on Miles Bridges. Unfortunately, with all the stuff that happened off of the court, him being arrested and whatnot, I like the Hornets roster. I do. I think Brandon Miller can be good for them. LaMelo Ball is darn good. I think he's an all-star. Terry Rozier, he's a Wizards killer. I think he's a darn good player. Mark Williams is going to be a good big. And PJ Washington is good too. So they got a good roster. I think Gordon Hayward, if he ever plays, I think he's pretty good too. They just made the play-in not too long ago. So at this point, they are the better team, and they kind of should be the better team, because they're trying to build around LaMelo. And they believe that they just paid him a max contract. They just paid PJ Washington. So they're starting to really pay a lot of guys. Yeah. So they should be a little bit further ahead, because we just gutted our roster basically. So I'm not surprised. But 17 games, if they play like this, then yes, it will be 17 games. If they play like this, it will be. It might be 15. It might be 15.
Yeah, looking like this. Yeah. I'm gonna shout out some comments real quick, because everybody's showing some love for the lack of beer tonight. Guru Strong said Brandon looked like the light-skinned dude on the Gilbert Arenas show now. And then he turned around and said he got the American Dad chin. Okay. Yeah. I admit I got that German chin, man. That thing is poking out there. And there was one more comment, man. Let me go through here. It talks about the play-in. And I can't find it, but somebody mentioned the play. Somebody mentioned the play-in.
Do they have a cat as their profile picture?
Let me see, maybe, but I think the comment was this, man, was stressing the play-in is more of a Ted Leonsis middle. Here's my thing, man. I think that if a team who is in year one of a rebuild is challenging for a play-in spot, that tells you that the progress of a rebuild is going to be shorter than you imagine. I kind of look at things to half, glass half full, half empty type deal. If this team right now is 1 year in a rebuild, right? If we're looking at aspirations for a plan, that should definitely be the goal, because you don't want a rebuild to be forever. You want to set your goals high, and that's my response to that is that this team is we're probably gonna be around 20, 25, looking like the night 15. But but the thing is, always throw that goal out there, man. Playing should definitely be the goal, because year one, year two of a rebuild, your challenge for a plan, then that's when you start looking at progress of young guys. What pieces can we bring in and go from there? But, we don't want this rebuild to be 5+ years, so Joe, I saw that. What's Joe Pesci doing on the show? Shout out to Red Wings. What? Joe Pesci. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see them making a play in.
Yeah.
We'll see what they do in the in-season tournament because they got to play the Hornets in the in-season tournament as well. They're on our pool or our group, so we'll see how that looks during the regular season. We struggled against the Hornets last year, even with the quote unquote big three with Porzingis and Brad and Kuz. They lost to the Hornets too. That was the game where Brad jumped off his foot, and the Hornets were controlling that game too. They were winning the game for the majority. For basically, they ended up winning the game anyway, but they were beating us by at least 10 for the majority of the game. But yeah, as far as the plan, I don't want to see us make the plan this year, especially if we're in jeopardy of losing that pick. This season is a failure because we didn't even get a first round pick from Brad. We didn't get a first from trading Brad. We didn't get a first round pick from trading Porzingis. And the only first round pick we got was the 2030 protected pick. And if the Warriors finish top 20, which they most likely still will 7 years from now, Steph Curry still could be playing 7 years from now because that's just how good I think he is. And I think he's going to play for a very long time still. They still definitely could be a playoff team. And we most likely won't even see that first round pick.
Yeah, I agree. But I think we're definitely heading in the right direction, man. I mean, Bilal, he may not be an offensive project as much as you think because 2 from 3. And I mean, his offensive game is coming along. Obviously he just needs playing time. So, I'm very impressed with him. But, going back to that center position, Lord, we need some depth, man. We need some depth at center because Gallo ain't it. He ain't it, man. I got a comment here, man. Alexander, I didn't mean to switch it, man. This man called me Peter Griffin. Come on, man. I ain't looking like no Peter Griffin. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, and the last thing about Jordan Poole, Janelli 1810 said Jordan Poole's going to make us sad for many nights and surprise us and others. That's going to be the season. Yeah, that's how he was with the Warriors. This time he's going to get more shots and not have to share shots with Steph and Clay and Andrew Wiggins and other guys on the roster. It's going to be him and really Kuz for the most part. But yeah, there's going to be some stinkers in there. He's not gonna go for 30 or 40 every night. There's going to be some games where he's like 3 for 18 like he was tonight.
Yeah, here's my thing is that, the shots aren't always going to drop, just contribute in other ways. With his play style, he's still going to entertain a lot of attention from defenses. Same thing with Kuz. Tyus to me is I'm looking at him to really contribute in other ways because when his shots, and we're not really looking at him to be maybe I don't know if we're looking at him as a third scorer. Not. You're probably looking at Bilal Denny as a third scorer behind Kuz and Poole, but he's got to get his assists up there, man. 2 assists. I don't like that. You definitely got to distribute. So,
yeah, a couple people agree with you about Kai Jones. I just can't take that risk right now. I do think he needs some mental health, some mental help with better help right now. I really do, and I think if an organization is going to take on Kai Jones, I think they need to give him the mental help that he needs and have a really, really good system around him to help him. And I think he's still really talented and can help a team. Once again, like I said before, Ted Leonsis is he's just not taking any risks on players right now. And the Hornets, they cut ties with him and they just drafted him. He was a first round pick. So if it was up to me, I still wouldn't take a chance. But I do want to see him play again. I think he can be a decent backup big in this league for sure. I really do. But he just needs the help. He needs a lot of mental help right now.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. You hate to see any young man go through that. He definitely needs help. It's just I'm kind of on the other side, man. I think that we try to give him that help. He's got too much talent. We need depth. Get him some help. Give him some playing time. I want to help the guy out. I want to see him prosper. Mental health is nothing to really joke about, and he definitely needs help. But just get him the help because it's a win-win. We get him right, and we got a guy who, quite frankly, he's got a lot of talent. So, I understand both sides. I really do. It's just, we got to do something, man, because look.
No, what I will say, Kai Jones is pretty lean and small, too. He's actually skinnier. He's smaller than Gafford.
Yeah.
So he may get pushed around a little bit, too. He needs to get in the weight room. But the talent is there. Athleticism is there for sure. But this draft, I think they got to target a big. I see some people talking about Cooper Flag. I got to see which class. I know he reclassified. I know he's not with this class.
Yeah.
But the year after is somebody we're going to have to certainly target because we just need more. We don't have any bigs at all. Last comment, Daryl Haiti says, come on, Ed, give me a 10-day contract or something. We had to rebuild. Nothing wrong with rebuilding with the bad part. He says 9 for 40. That's it. Yeah, the 3-point shooting was abysmal tonight, but we'll see how these guys bounce back. Brandon, you got anything else or any comments you want to read? I guess anything we left out, we'll try to. There's a lot of comments in there tonight, so we'll try to bring that up next week for sure.
No, absolutely. Fridays we'll try to do mailbag episodes, so definitely shoot us all your best questions, man. A lot of good questions tonight. Definitely appreciate y'all. I mean, right now we have 85 people in chat, man. So definitely appreciate you guys chopping up with us after the game. But nah, man, I'm good to go. So we can go ahead and roll out. Again, appreciate you guys. The Washington Wizards 2-0 in the preseason. Really ugly win. But look, showed a lot of heart tonight. So look, we're looking forward. We got 2 more preseason games. And then look, going towards the end of the month, the regular season starts. So look, it's gearing up. Next season is going to be something else, man. 25 wins, 20 wins, 15 wins. We'll see, but we all can agree that it's going to be fun to watch. So appreciate you guys, and hail to the Wizards, and peace. See you guys later. See you next time.